Hello there, Captains. Kato Genesis here, bringing you another guide for Starfield, this time covering the UC defense manuals that you can find in Starfield. These are 5 of the many magazines that you can find in the game, and these ones have a single cumulative bonus that involve all Allied Armaments weapons, saying that it slightly increases magazine size and weapon bash critical chance for all Allied Armaments guns. The weapons affected by these bonuses are the Urban Eagle, the Breach, the Negotiator, Orion, AA-99, Sidestar, Microgun, and Pacifier. The capacity of each of these weapon magazines does vary, so the bonus is going to vary as well. Like the bonus of the Microgun maxes out at 100 bonus ammo capacity, whereas the Negotiator only gets 5 bonus at max capacity. The bash critical chance seems to be the same across the board though, at a 5% per magazine, 25% maximum. And for the very rare occasion of going in order, we are going to go in order from 1 to 5 because none of these are quest locked and 2 are in procedural points of interest. So now that I've said magazine in enough context to make it confusing, let's go get them. First we go for is UC Defense Manual 01, and this one is found at the one-of-a-kind salvage on Nera in the Nerion system, a system we should be familiar with because those are our old stomping grounds when we worked for Argos. The marker should already be present on Nera when you zoom in on the planetary map, and then you need only land there and enter the main facility. If you've entered the airlock that is closest to the landing pad, you should come in on an elevated walkway, and directly across from you, you should see stairs to another elevated walkway that you can get to fairly easily. Just on top of some gray shelves, right before another airlock leading back outside, you should find UC Defense Manual 01 sitting on top. Next up is UC Defense Manual 02, and this one is found at the Den Station orbiting Chthoniya in the Wolf system. And on the star map, you can find the Wolf system in between Nerion, Alpha Centauri, and Sol. Once you have docked with the Den Station, you're looking for the office of the Vanguard here. Fortunately, the station's interior is not very big at all, and you need only follow the corridor off to your right, and once you find the office with the research terminal, the room in the back will have 2 beds and a shelf in between, and upon that shelf should be UC Defense Manual 02. Third we're going for is UC Defense Manual 03, and this one is found on Cydonia, the massive Mars mining operation in the Sol system. Once you are inside the main structure, past the incident sign and down the ramp, what we're looking for is the entrance to the residential area. Once you are here and make it into the common rooms, look for the door labeled UC Marine Barracks. And just inside here on the big white dining table, you should find UC Defense Manual 03. And if you're looking for Mining Monthly, the Miners Barracks aren't far from here. Before we get into the next magazines, I want to go over some tips and tricks I have for the procedural points of interest in the game because that's where the next 5 magazines are located. Firstly, these are the map icons we're going to be looking for. I've learned that just having this information is pretty helpful. Second, when you bring up the map of a solar system that has worlds on it that you haven't been to before, some of them will have 3 little dots on them. These are procedural points of interest that are pre-generated for that world, as opposed to discovering them after you land. This will save you at least a couple loading screens. Third, and the most time-consuming method that we'll probably all use at least once, is the takeoff and land method. That's simply landing on a world where you think these icons will show up, scanning all of them, if one of them matches, going and checking it out. If not, just taking off and landing again. Fourth, these magazines are in static locations within these points of interest, which means you can get duplicates of the next we're going to talk about. And that also means if you found one of these points of interest previously and you're kicking yourself for not remembering, don't worry, you find another one, there will be another magazine there too. And in case you're wondering if you're doing all of this in a single playthrough, picking up duplicates of the same magazine won't rank up the effect. Unless you're New Game Plus, but we don't have time to get into that. So I hope these methods that I use to find these magazines also help you as well. Next to go for is UC Defense Manual 04, and this one is found at the procedural point of interest known as the Abandoned Weapons Station. You should be able to find this location on most worlds that have human enemies like spacers or pirates, and what you're looking for at a distance is 2 opposing structures with a ship in between them that seems to be under construction. This ship in the middle is actually our first stop because the magazine is actually locked behind a security door that you can security your way through, but I want to cover all the bases. On the platform on these stairs, stairs next to the ship, before the very top, there should be a small table with a little stand that contains the key card you need to access the storage room. Fortunately, the ship's cockpit is pointing right where you need to go, to the slightly taller of the two facilities. Head into the wide open entrance of this building and go for the stairs in the back to get up to the second floor, and once you're up here, on a hard left, you should find the locked storage room, which you can now enter to pick up the UC Defense Manual 04 sitting on the table that looks right out the window. Now we go for UC Defense Manual 05, and this one is found at the procedural point of interest known as the Abandoned Robotics Facility. This one seems to have few limitations on where it spawns, thanks to mine ending up on a world with no atmosphere, and for what to look for on the horizon, or on the new and improved surface map. It has an octagon on the top with some radar domes, then gets kind of boxy the rest of the way down. It also has directional antennas pointing every which way. Once you do find this location, the front entrance will be on an elevated platform. After entering, this might be the easiest one to get, as it's just to the room off to your left, straight back on this countertop. So, now that you have all of these, which Allied Armaments gun are you taking for a spin, or have you been using, and are now enjoying the extended magazine experience? Do let me know in the comments, and if you're looking for more magazines in Starfield, I have you covered there too. They're all linked below, as well as a playlist here where you can find all of them, as well as some tips and tricks and other stuff. If you found this useful, entertaining, or both, please do whatever it is you see fit to show that. Among the ways you can is by supporting on Patreon, like the super supporters on screen now, including Wasteland Legends, Sven, and Rose. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Kato Genesis, and I hope to see you among the stars.